Okay, so it's 5 o'clock on Tuesday, the 12th of November. We are in week 4 of LDR 340. Case studies and leadership. I have that up on the screen, and you should see 12 November. Hope everybody had a good Veterans Day, and you'll note Veterans Day does not have an apostrophe in it. It is plural, meaning that it is enjoyed by everybody. If it was apostrophed, that'd make it possessive. That'd make it only for veterans. And I think the thing to recognize on that day is it's a day for us all to recognize veterans. And that means if you haven't served, you participate just as somebody who has, acknowledging those who go into harm's way and those who never had the chance but signed up for it. Hope you all had a good opportunity to celebrate on the 10th, the 244th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. I know I did. My bride and daughter and I, we went to the birthday ball celebration on base, retirees ball they call it, mostly retirees, but a lot of former in there as well. And that was on Saturday the 9th, and that was a good time. All right, so we're looking here at, and then of course Veterans Day was yesterday. Had some good weather, and now of course it's pretty nasty out, so I hope you're not out in it. If you are, I'd like you to be very careful. Okay, so what are we doing today? We're going to go ahead and cover a few things. I'm going to go ahead and talk through a little bit of the feedback I'm about ready to send you on your week 3 instructor's article. And then I'll cover some of the midterm exam that you have this week and the paper that is due in week 8. So first off, on LDR 340, again, for those who are still having trouble, there's a couple of you. If you go on to the Moodle page, which is what I'm showing you on the screen right now, and you scroll down, you have all sorts of information. You have the announcement section and the like, and you have where I put the Zoom files, resources, and then that includes the LDR 300 leadership class slides. So this gives you the framework of the DAF text, and included within there is all of my slides from the seated class. And then we have the weeks broken down, week 1, week 2, week 3, which we're just finished, week 4, which shows the quiz. Okay, so look at this real fast. For example, week 3, or I'll go down to week 5. You have 2 places where I need you to upload your student article. First is in the discussion forum, student article. You'll upload there so that your fellow students and I can read your analysis and then provide feedback. And this is where you will post your analysis, and where you'll go in and post comments on at least 2 other students' pages. This is a discussion thread. This is the discussion forum, highlighted by the green and blue text style quote boxes. Okay. When you upload your student article, you need to also upload it up here, one above in the assignment space, student articles, Wall Street Journal article of your choice. And that is signified by an icon with a page in a outstretched hand. That is where I need you to upload your analysis in the same as what you did on the discussion forum, the same file. That file most probably is a Word document, and I need you to upload it to the student article assignment form as well, so I can grade it. Okay, unfortunately, what you post in the discussion thread has no mechanism for me to really grade, and there's no I'm kind of getting into the Moodle setup, if you will. And so what we have is 2 places for you to upload, because you're uploading 2 separate issues. The same article, but one goes to the discussion forum so we can discuss it and do discussion thread. And the other is in the assignment forum so I can grade it. Okay, and I appreciate everybody's patience with that. I know it's double work, but I don't think it's too onerous, and I'm going to ask you to do it. Emailing me your work isn't going to work, and the reason for that is that I cannot upload it for you, and there's an obvious reason for that. Nobody but you can upload a file to your section of Moodle. So I'm going to ask that you stop emailing me the file unless I ask for it. Just let me know when you're ready to upload. Give me a time frame, a window, if you will. And I will go in and I will extend out that time frame in Moodle so you can upload. Okay? Let's do it that way if we can. I really appreciate your patience and understanding. The instructor's weekly case is as normal. It is again an assignment forum page in an outstretched hand. And we don't seem to be having any issues there. There's a couple of you that are having a hard time meeting that deadline on Saturday night. I'm not really sure why, but we'll get through it. Okay, so let's take a look here at the midterm exam. So week 4 this week, tomorrow, I will open up your exam. It'll open at noon on Wednesday, the 13th of November. This will close at 1500 on Saturday, the 16th of November. So you need to have the exam completed no later than 1500 on Saturday, 16 November. It is automatically going to close. So if you're in the quiz and 1500 hits, it's going to close on you. Okay. So you got a window there to take your quiz or exam. The midterm is designed for you to demonstrate your understanding of the material covered. And by material covered, we're predominantly talking about, hold on, let me put up your text. All right, case study handbook. And the material that you've already read through. So that's going to be chapters 1 through 6. Also, there is going to be a question or two on the cases we've covered. Okay, now it's not going to be hidden. It's going to be fairly obvious when you read the quiz question. I don't try any tricks. The questions read identical, if not very close to, the way it appears in your text. This is a open text, open book, open notes exam, but not open neighbor. In other words, no collaboration with fellow students. But you may use your text. If you've read your text and have followed along in our discussions then, and read the feedback that I've given you, then you should be in good shape. If you have not, you're not going to have enough time. Okay, this is a timed quiz. You will get a full hour. It is a one-shot, one attempt only. So make sure when you take this exam that you've taken it at a time and place where you will not be interrupted. Okay, so make sure you're ready to take it, and then take it and complete it before 3 p.m. on or 1500 on Saturday, 16th of November. So let's take a look at the slide. All right. Okay. All right, not sure why that's not coming out very good, but let's take a look here. All right, let's keep it here for now, and I'll show you what we have here. So, as you can see, midterm exam timed in one shot, so don't be interrupted. You've got plenty of time, unless you have been paying attention. Sorry about that. 10 true, false, 10 best answer. Okay, best answer, not multiple guess, best answer. If you don't like any of the answers, you have to pick one, because one is the best. Okay, no sneaky tricks, no partial credit. If more than a third or 2/3 of the class, if more than 2/3 of the class misses a question, we'll talk about it, and then I will reserve the right to dispose of that question if it looks like 3/4 of you had a problem with it. Okay, that's not a invite for you to tube the exam, but in the realm of fairness, if I haven't worded that question right, then you should have some relief. The questions cover forum discussions in chapters 1 through 6. There will not be any questions from the case study coach on the midterm. I think originally I was going to put 2 in there, but I don't think I have any in there. Okay, open book, open note, but not open neighbor. All right, so that should pretty much cover the midterm. Let's go to your paper. So the leadership case study paper is having you look at a company or organization, and let's go back to Moodle so that I can more properly show week 8. Okay, so here is your paper. Leadership case study is 30% of your grade, 30 points. I will pass out a rubric showing you how I grade and what I'm looking for, probably by week 6, probably not next week. It is due, your paper is due no later than, excuse me, 23:59, 11:59 p.m. on Saturday, 2 November. Okay, we've got to, I'm sorry. That was when I needed your company to me. Okay. Your paper is due no later than, there, I've just highlighted it, 23:59, 11:59 on Sunday, 15 December. Yeah, that's a little better. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to select a company or organization and discuss leaderships that are currently occurring. You will summarize the issues as well as identify the leadership style, the leaders involved, and the culture of that organization. Okay? So you're going to do an introduction to the study. You're going to describe the case, company, and the issues that are to be analyzed. You're going to explain the importance of various elements, including, and I would say to you, slapping the desk here, this is something to remember, organizational culture, structures, leadership styles, and ethical climate. That's 4 things that need to be included that you're going to talk about importance. Okay? you're going to analyze these issues and the approaches used by your protagonist, and you're going to explain the importance of these concepts used or ones that should be used, and then a conclusion. Okay. So if you look at that, that's 6 areas that you need to have in your paper. Okay. This is going to be an APA formatted paper, proper spelling, grammar, please. You're going to need it in Times New Roman font, 12 pitch, 1-inch margins, double space, typed, obviously. Paper should be 7 to 10 pages in length. Understanding I don't grade by length of paper. I don't grade based on word count or pages. If you can address all these things that I've got in here in 3 pages or less, then go for it. I don't think you can, but that's possible. You can be that, use that kind of brevity and get all your points across. Conversely, if it takes you 30 pages to address all these points and do it in a manner that is effective in communicating what you're trying to get across to me, then go for it. Okay, again, I will not grade down in case you go under or exceed the page limit based purely on page limit. What I'm looking for is content. I want to know what you're talking about. I don't want to see you know what you're talking about. Okay, so there's 6 items up here. Intro to study, description, explanation of importance, things like that. Remember, I keep asking you to do paragraph headers. This helps you outline your paper so that you make sure you're covering all the information, and it helps you outline it. And then, and so you can organize. And it helps me, your reader, okay? So, paragraph header. First paragraph, the header should say intro. Second paragraph, description. Current issues. Third paragraph, importance of those 4 elements. Right? Fourth paragraph, analysis of issues. Did you do this as a problem, a decision, or an evaluation? Okay, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, then explanation. Right, and then a conclusion. Okay, to this point in the course, I've been asking you, is this a problem, a decision, or an evaluation? Okay, at this point, you've read chapters 1 through 6, so you should be very familiar, right, with the difference of all these. If not, we're going to have a hard time. So what I'm going to do here to you is I'm going to show you something to consider, and this has been in each of your feedback files for your various articles, okay? All right, so let me share my screen here with you. All right. So again, your text is telling you that in Chapter 4, a decision analysis includes 6 elements. The required decision, a review of the options, your 3 to 5 selected criteria you used as your analysis, how you did your analysis, and then the recommended decision, and also propose 3 to 5 actions. Okay? So this could be you make the recommended decision of proceed with the merger or an acquisition. Okay? That should be based on that 3 to 5 criteria you used. Okay? To determine why that was the decision reached. And 3 to 5 actions. In other words, think of things that have to occur to put this decision into play. Okay, one is you're probably going to need to let your people know. Okay, do you do that up front before the purchase, or do you do it after? Do you work into it, or do you just slam it in somebody's face? Okay. In Chapter 5, the author tells you your analysis of an evaluation has 6 elements as well. You're going to identify the subject, select 3 to 5 criteria, conduct your analysis of that criteria, make an overall evaluation. Okay, don't forget to identify any contingencies, meaning any qualifiers, and then your recommended action. So, if I'm going to evaluate a CEO of a particular company, this is a leadership class, so my evaluation would be the protagonist is or is not an effective leader based on whatever that 3 to 5 criteria was. Communication, vision, change leadership, you name it, okay? And then in the end, I'm going to say he is or is not an effective leader. If I say he's effective, then there might need to be a qualifier there that, you know, provided he does a little bit better job communicating or changes his leadership style a little bit. And then in the recommended actions, that is where you would detail out how to do that. Something I've been trying to get you all to do in this course is get beyond the CEO needs to communicate better. Well, yeah, I mean, anybody can say that. And that's probably true. But how? What did you learn, particularly from that chapter in your LDR 300 text, right? Leadership experience, that helps you counsel somebody on how to better communicate. I hope you see what I'm getting at. Okay, and then the final chapter, 6, tells you that a problem diagnosis has 4 elements. Define the problem. Okay, this is what I'm asking you when I say, what are the leadership challenges? Okay, don't tell me that their stock price has dropped or their phones are on fire or, you know, this guy's about to be fired. Okay, that is not getting into cause and effect. Okay, the effect is him being fired or the phone's on fire or you name it. Okay, the cause is, in our case, a leadership failure. That is why when I say leadership challenges, go in, tell LDR 300 and just pull those out. Okay, don't have to write a whole lot on this, just identify it. A lot of you did on this past article on the BMW CEO. You said the leadership challenge was lack of vision or ability to lead change. Wonderful, perfect. You nailed 2 right there. Okay, then make an overall diagnosis. Okay, here's what should have been happening, and then some recommended actions. In other words, I think he should develop a vision. Great. Your draft text, your draft text tells you elements of the vision and how to craft one. Okay? Strategic leadership. All right. So what we're getting at here is an opportunity for you to take a position grounded in evidence instead of just relying on opinion or conventional wisdom or just a flippant, they need to communicate better. Okay? You've had undergraduate level coursework in leadership. So show me some of that effort. Okay? All right. If you don't remember or have your LDR 300 course, again, remembering that I've given you that previously, right? Let's see. All right. Under resources, right here, LDR 300 leadership class slides. And here is the framework of the text. And within here, here are all my slides. Okay? So you've got access to the resource. Please try to use it. Okay. So we're now back to the paper. And I think that hopefully helps you out, okay? Remember, the fundamental relationship, the one that matters the most, is your statement of a conclusion and the evidence used to support it. So in all these papers, I'm going to start hammering you on these, where you have to take a position. You have to tell me specifically, the protagonist is handling the situation well. The protagonist is not an effective leader. The protagonist needs to blah, 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 okay? And that blah, blah, blah is all the evidence that you're going to use to support your and back up your position. Again, you're going to make your case, not just state it from the heart, okay? So as you go down there, get in the habit of writing a position statement. In a problem diagnosis case, the protagonist can correct the problem by, all right, list out your leadership principle model theories. Okay, if the protagonist is having a problem with leadership styles, then how would you counsel the protagonist to change? Well, you remember contingency approach. You change your style, or you better inform yourself as to what you have. Okay, the protagonist needs to motivate his or her followers. Okay, well, what were the motivational theories and models that are out there? Needs-based, Maslow's hierarchy needs, Herzberg's two-factor theory, right? Carrot and stick approach. Okay, those are all things that you're backing up. In a decision, you really have three decisions. Okay, the protagonist should decide to do it, whatever it is. The protagonist should not do it, whatever it is, or the protagonist should wait a while. Okay, it's either a yes, a no, or wait. Okay, and then use your criteria that you identify. This should be your leadership principles. And then in an evaluation, predominantly you're evaluating your protagonist on his or her leadership. So say the protagonist is or is not an effective leader based on my analysis of, and then the criteria used. So in the case of Mr. Kruger, we would say he is not an effective leader because he failed to articulate a vision and was unable to lead change. That's all it is. Don't make this harder than it is, okay? But this is what we're going to start doing, okay? You went through the element text now, so you know what the elements are, and this is what we're going to derive, okay? All right. Enough of that. So, getting into the leadership case study paper, most everybody got their company organization in, and I appreciate that, okay? Took us a long time, and I'm not sure where the breakdown of communication was. If I didn't properly articulate it, then I take responsibility. If you blew me off, then I'm going to ask you to take responsibility, because here's the bottom line. The reason that I wanted you to tell me your company organization is I'm doing my own research on it right now. So the first time I read somebody's paper on, for example, Boeing, I'm going to have read material on Boeing. Okay? The other reason that I do this is remembering that paper is due the last day of class, and it's 30% of your grade. That is not the time to find out that you didn't understand the assignment, because at that point it's almost too late to fix. So up front, we've already had a couple of you not quite understanding the assignment. But I think we're on track. I think you get a better feel for it. Okay. Now, does it matter which organization or company you use? No, I was letting you pick it. Okay. There was some. I was trying to keep everybody from writing on the same company. There's a couple of you that are covering the same company. Then ask that you not collaborate. This is to be your own research. And I'm pretty confident with a offsite or online class like we have, that won't be an issue. Okay? If it seemed to me that you tend to pick the same organization over and over and over and over again, I'm going to come in and kind of push you out of that. Okay. Remember, DAF text LDR 300 talked about a critical element of leadership is pushing beyond your comfort zone. All right. And if I routinely see you picking the same type of article, the same type of protagonist, the same inherent issues, and therefore the same challenge, well, that's not doing you any favors, and that's really not quite what this class is about. Okay. So I'm going to kind of push you out of your comfort zone. That said, you came back and gave me, whatever it was. Generally speaking, I accepted it. Okay. Those are all listed here. This is what I'm saying. I will send these slides out later. Just make sure that we're all tracking. If this is not what you're doing, or you see a mistake on here, I'm going to ask that you please let me know, and I'll correct it straight away. All right, thank you. So getting back to position statement, why are we doing this? Well, this is the thesis of your paper. Okay, it is the roadmap. It's telling me, or telling your reader, telling me, the reader, what to expect from you. Okay, it is usually a single sentence. It's somewhere in your first paragraph, introduction paragraph. Okay, and it's presenting your argument. Okay, it's the evidence of the fundamental relationship, the one that matters most, your statement of conclusion and the evidence for it. Okay, it should be sharply focused so that it organizes your essay. Without it, if your essay has no purpose or direction, then you're going to start doing something I call yondering. It comes from a Louis L'Amour book. Louis L'Amour was a very prolific author of Western novels back in his day. And he combined two words. He combined yonder, which is an objective somewhere, okay, over yonder, and wandering, to move serpentine or aimlessly to your objective. So yondering means you're getting somewhere somehow. Okay? that is very frustrating to read, and I know none of you will accept that, and you shouldn't. Same thing for me as your instructor. When you present a paper to me, there should be a direction and a purpose in your communication. And typically, that purpose and direction is getting you to answer certain questions. Address the questions and answer them, okay? Use paragraph headers. If I've given you 4, which I have, right? Up front, protagonist, is this problem, decision, evaluation, right? What are the leadership or leadership challenges? Okay, how is the organization handling the challenges, meaning how is the protagonist doing? And ultimately, what would you recommend the protagonist do in your own mind? What is the student's, that would be you, perspective on this? Okay. All right, so thesis or position statement are one and the same. It is what you plan to argue. How do you plan to argue? That is a thesis. In your text, Elliott text, okay, he uses the term position statement. And that is, what is your conclusion and the evidence you use to support it? So they're one and the same, okay? So what do? You go in there and you figure out, who are we talking about, okay? Doesn't matter who. I can read the same article as you and come up with a different protagonist. Okay, I don't care which one you pick as long as you pick one. And this is a person. An existing person that we can identify and that we can counsel. Because ultimately that's what we're getting at. All right. Is this a decision, an evaluation, or a problem diagnosis? This is where you go through your analysis based on the Elliott test. This is where we find those challenges, how they're being handled, and what you think should happen. And then I want you to take a position. So as an example, we have an article. Let's say it was an article that we had on the public broadcasting system, PBS. Ms. Paula Kerger, and she had some things going on. And so we need to decide, is this a decision, evaluation, problem diagnosis? We decided we're going to make it an evaluation. Okay, we're going to take a position. Is she an effective leader or is she not? Okay, which one is it? Not a maybe, not a both, not a well, I think, or possibly could be. No. This is a leadership class. You're going to take a position and make a strong. Let's say, for example, that you picked she is or is not an effective leader. Well, this is an evaluation, so it depends on the criteria you use. And so here's 1 through 5 areas where we've got certain criteria that we've used. Okay. We have some sexual harassment allegations and how she handled those. We have communication. We have morals and standards. We have organizational structure, and we have leadership style. Okay? And pull these all right out of that article. And so we look at all these. And in the end, we find, hey, she's pretty effective. So that's how we're going to write our position statement. PBS CEO, Ms. Paula Kerger, is an effective leader due to, and then you're going to pick these criteria that you use to make your evaluation. You used 5, but let's say we're going to use 3 because that supports your case. Okay. Vision and implementation, communication, and organizational culture. And so now the position statement reads, PBS Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Paula Kerger, is an effective leader due to the fact that she demonstrates the qualities as identified in the ILDR 300 DAP text, that she has a vision and is able to implement it. She can explain and communicate her organization's mission with efficiency, and she knows her organizational culture while enforcing the code of ethics on all employees from the top down. That's all this is. Don't make it any harder. Okay? All right, so it's 5:40. I'm only supposed to do these for 40 minutes. Because I said don't make it harder than it is, I'll share with you a fun video that demonstrates that point.
Oh, that's not good. Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Telephone.
No. Sorry. Somebody. Hello? There are 2 people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You've got to be kidding me. Well, I'm not left to do.
All right, so nothing else left to do. There's always something to do, and you've got plenty of opportunities here to get after it. So, again, I appreciate everybody's attention and joining. Again, this was LDR 340. And let me get back to my main screen. I'm going to post your instructor article grades right now. Again, everybody did a good job. Some of you really did a great job. And there was improvement across the board. Again, what's catching most people is make it easy on yourselves. Identify that protagonist and then do your analysis. Okay? That way you can focus in and provide a response. These things are so open-ended, we could go down all sorts of paths. Okay? Don't try to answer everything. Focus in on leadership, what you've learned from LDR 300, and apply it to that protagonist. If you think he or she needs to demonstrate better vision, then say that, and then pull out some things on vision, okay? Depth. All right, keep at it. You all are doing fine. Those that aren't, read my feedback, and we'll get you back up where you want to be. All right? Okay. Again, thank you for your time, and I hope everybody stays safe. And we'll see you again in a week.